When I first saw this headline, the first thing I did was when I got out of classes, I came back and I just wanted to learn more about it and see if it was real because I genuinely didn't believe it. If it is true, then I think this is the biggest mistake the Dolphins organization has made in a long time, probably since trading Minka Fitzpatrick. Obviously, what I'm talking about is that Tua Tagovailoa is going to be the starter in 2 weeks versus the Rams. Just to bring you up to speed, Dolphins are 3-3 and second in the AFC East, only a game out of first. So, they're riding a 2-game win streak. So they're really starting to look like this team that, I projected them to be in my early season predictions. And Fitz really has been a huge part of that success. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks, in the AFC right now. I mean, he's 12 total touchdowns, 1,500 passing yards, 150 rushing yards, and he's 7th in total overall QBR. So, I mean, sure, they're a work in progress, but he's still helping to be that just sort of fill-in like he knew he was going to be and get them success. And obviously everyone knew they drafted Tua to replace Fitz, but the kind of understanding around, from everything I read, was that they were going to wait till the end of the year, very Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes style, to just, give Tua a year to learn the system, get everything, so they can bolster the team a little bit, and then, Tua won't get this work in progress that Fitz is working with. He'll get this grand scheme. I mean, literally, they have 10 draft picks next year and 2 firsts, so they still have so much talent that they can potentially put on their team that we haven't even seen yet. So, I keep saying that the team's a work in progress. And by that, I just mean that, it's not a bad team, but they're still figuring it all out. I mean, their receiving core is all right. Devontae Parker is a bona fide stud, but Preston Williams looked great in his rookie season, but after that ACL tear, he's slowly starting to, get back to himself. Obviously Jeremy Grant is good, but again, he's more of a speedster, kick return specialist than he is a receiving threat. And so, they're really, the receivers aren't ideal, but Fitz is still, doing very well with what he's given. And I will say Mike Gesicki, the tight end, is great too, but again, he has 2 really viable options that are ideal. Compared to, you look at teams like Cowboys, he's got CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup, who all could be number 1 given the right scenario. So I just think, the receiver core is obviously still 1 or 2 pieces away from really being this bona fide core that they're trying to be. The next most concerning thing to me is the rushing game. As a rookie, the run game is one of the best things a player can have. I mean, look at Dak Prescott. He led them to 13-3 as a rookie, in part because Zeke just allowed him to play more free, to play relaxed. He didn't have to worry so much about forcing everything, because when you can control the clock, you can win games by just doing that. You get up 2 scores early. If you can run the ball efficiently, I mean, there really is no chance the team has to come back and try and beat you. And so we look at this Dolphins team and you see... So Myles Gaskin, don't get me wrong, great player, but again, he's only 5'9", he's 180, so he's small, okay? So he gets banged up. He can't really be taking 30 touches a game like Derrick Henry can, because again, he's just really small. He's not super big. He's good. Last week against the Jets, he finally had this big game. He had about 100 scrimmage yards, and so he finally started to look at that role that they wanted to. But besides him, I mean, the run game is pretty stagnant. I mean, the second highest rusher on their team is a 37-year-old quarterback. Ryan Fitzpatrick is the second highest rusher on this team that, again, they are now throwing a rookie into to try and do the same things a 17-year-old vet can do. And I'm not saying Tua has, on paper, way more talent than Ryan Fitzpatrick has. He's younger. He's got everything going for him. But again, coming off one of the biggest injuries that people thought could be career-ending, I'm not sure if this is the team you want to throw a guy into. It just kind of seems like they're throwing him to the wolves. And, okay, so the defense, I'll say, I'm not as concerned about the defense. It's pretty middle of the pack. It's around 16th overall. The research I was doing shows yardage and point spread-wise, they're pretty middle of the pack. They do a good job. And, again, a lot of that just comes from, they signed huge players like Van Noy, Shaq Lawson, and Byron Jones, but, they're just still starting to gel together and figure things out. Because obviously they have guys like, Xavier Howard, who's a bona fide stud, but again, it's about them all starting to play together and get this Brian Flores system into the team. And the last thing is, well, I think that's the scariest thing. It's kind of hard to find offensive line rankings because usually, at the end of the season we'll get them, but I found this article. This was through 3 weeks at PFF, and again, We've only had 3 more weeks, so again, a little over doubled, but still, I just want to see this, that the Dolphins O-line, according to PFF, is the worst in the league after 3 weeks. Obviously, a lot's changing. I think they're playing better. They also haven't been playing as well of town. I mean, San Fran's missing their 2 best rushers, and the Jets are, well, the Jets. So it's like, again, they haven't had a real test since, they played the Patriots or the Bills. So you're throwing, again, this rookie with a very bad run game, an all-right receiver core, one of the worst O-lines in the league, and now he has to play Aaron Donald, one of the best defensive players ever, in his first week of action. I mean, that's jumping the gun to me. I really don't see how they could see it any other way. Miami's a good team. Don't get me wrong. I like Miami this year, and obviously I did. I put them high in my projections, saying that I think they could compete for a wild card. They're 3-3 and a pretty run of the pack, and they're still just trying to figure out anything. And I mean, they still haven't lost the game by more than 10 points. And the Bills Seahawks were 1-score games throughout most of the game. I mean, they have fight in them. By starting Tua, not only are they rushing him in and they're throwing him in a year where they really only have wild card aspirations, but you're giving the NFL head coaches film on him before you need to. I mean, the sophomore slump is a real thing. And they're going to force Tua's next year if Tua turns out to be their bona fide starter. They're giving all the coaches, these next few weeks of film on him. And I just think that's a mistake. They're going to see what he likes, what he doesn't like. And that's the one thing that is a luxury. I mean, it's the reason Patty Mahomes was able to throw for 50 touchdowns so easy, was because no one had seen him. They didn't expect him to be playing this bold for being, technically a rookie. Obviously, he played week 17 that one year with the Chiefs. But, I mean, then he threw 50 touchdowns as in my opinion, a rookie, because they didn't know what to do. They're like, what is this? They've never seen him, and now he's dotting them up like he's a connect the dots book. It doesn't make any sense. I really believe they should have followed that Patrick Mahomes model. I love Andy Reid, and I think very few people know how to create a team better than him. When he got Mahomes, he didn't care that he traded up and the pressure was on to start him over Alex Smith. Every time Alex Smith had a bad throw that year, they're like, oh man, maybe Mahomes is going to see some action. Every single week it was like that because they traded up for him. Reid didn't care. He did not let them affect them. They were a good team, and so he didn't want to put Alex Smith down. They finished 11-5. He's like, why would I put this guy down when he's leading my team to all the success right now? That doesn't make sense. And then the next year, they win a Super Bowl behind Mahomes. Oh, sorry. They didn't win the Super Bowl. But again, AFC Championship against the eventual champion Patriots, and your quarterback throws for 50 touchdowns. And then the next year you win the Super Bowl. That was genius. Andy Reid executed that perfectly. He built the team around Alex Smith, but not really. He built it around the spread offense that Alex Smith knew how to run, obviously because of going to Utah. And then Mahomes, playing it at Texas Tech, plops right into the system, and it works perfectly. The Dolphins now have forfeited that right to a huge surprise. My only real guess to why they're doing this and benching my guy, Ryan Fitzpatrick, is that the Laramie Tunsil trade. Obviously, they traded with the Texans, and they got 2 firsts out of it. And one of them is for this year. And my guess is Tua sucks. Say he's awful. Well, then, they have a chance to draft a quarterback. They can shake things up in the draft then. But honestly, that's really my only guess. It kind of looks like, they're planning, if Tua's, this Josh Rosen story, like the Cardinals, that, you trade and get your guy like they did with Kyler Murray. But, I really don't know. And, seeing all the stuff about Fitzpatrick coming out, it's just sad. And, you heard the Miami locker room talk about Fitzpatrick, too. Kyle Van Noy went on to Pat McAfee's show the other week and was talking about how Fitz is like the guy in the locker room, and that how everyone really, they're all playing for him. They like playing with him because he's a great player. And, again, I feel like they're just kind of switching it off. And then, Fitzy doesn't even get told. It has to be leaked to him because the leak got out quicker than Flores could tell him. I just think that's just ridiculous. You don't even have the decency to tell the guy who's been dotting up defenses for you that he's on the bench now. I that's just unbelievably disrespectful to wait that long. And I get it. It shouldn't have been leaked in the first place, but still, Fitzpatrick deserves better than that. And I'm sad that that's what they're doing. That's how he got treated. I really feel like he got the short end of the stick here. And, even if Tua succeeds, I obviously hope he will. I'm never going to wish someone bad, but, I don't know. I wish Tua a good future, but I just feel like they did Ryan Fitzpatrick dirty. And I hate that that's the taste that I've left in my mouth now whenever the Miami Dolphins are having success, if they have success with Tua, is that, this all came from benching a guy but not even telling him at first. I just think that's kind of unbelievable. Yeah, so there was my video. Tell me what you think of the decision to start Tua in the comments below. I mean, it's definitely something that's going to be debated and very closely watched and scrutinized by the NFL fans over the next few weeks. Feel free to like and subscribe. I'm almost at 50 subscribers, so that's pretty cool. Sorry about last week not really uploading. It was my midterm, so I was pretty busy, but I'm really excited to get back into it and start posting again. So yeah, be sure to like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.